few weeks we've spoken about Virat Kohli and him trying to find his form. But as you predicted, he did manage to find it at the Asia Cup. And now he's leveled your tally of 71 international centuries. What do you think of that?
That was only a matter of time, wasn't it? It's actually it's taken a bit longer the last couple of years because he's been in that that little bit of century-making drought, if you like. It's taken a little bit longer to get to me than I thought it was going to. But no, look, he's obviously one of the all-time greats. Still a long time to go in his career yet. Good to see him back in the runs, albeit, the question that we've got to keep asking as well, I'm sure the Indian selectors are asking the same question. Does that, create more of a problem than we thought with Virat getting that 100 opening the batting? What are we going to do now going into the World Cup? So there's a few other questions that have probably been raised on the back of that magnificent 100 that he made. And he was even on record saying that he was even surprised himself that the first 100 back was actually in a T20 game. He thought that would be the last probably option he'd have to score his first 100 in a couple of years. But no, look, great to see him back in the runs. Great to see him with a smile on his face. That's the thing. He was, so happy and I guess relieved at the end of that game. And he obviously spoke very fondly about his wife's influence on the last couple of years of his life as well, which was also really nice to hear. It's a lot of that stuff goes unspoken about in men's sport in particular, just the impact that your family and your very close ones have on you through your career. So it was nice to hear that, but also great to see Virat back in the runs again.
Do you think he can surpass Sachin Tendulkar's 100 international centuries?
If you had asked me 3 years ago, I would have said yes. The fact that it slowed down as much as it did, I still think it's possible for him. There's no doubt. Because I still think he's got a number of years ahead of him. But I guess if you to still be 30 international hundreds behind, I mean that's a lot. That's five or six test hundreds a year maybe for the next 3 or 4 years, and if you throw a couple of one-day ones and maybe the odd T20 one on top of it. Look, I would never say never with Virat, because once he gets on a bit of a roll, we know how hungry he is and how keen for success he is. So I'll never say never, that's for sure.